Good morning, Hojo staff, students, and families. Ya Teabin. We're ready to start our day, so everybody please stand. Place your right hand over your heart. Voices are off, bodies are still. Eyes are on the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Good morning, everyone. Today is Thursday, November 12th. And we're ready to start our day together. We do have one birthday today. Kaysen's having a birthday. Happy birthday, Kaysen. Hope everyone had an enjoyable day off yesterday. Maybe, did you thank a veteran? We didn't get to do the parade this year, but maybe next year. Okay, everyone. So let's start with our music. Oops, actually I didn't cue that up yet, so just give me a second here. And Mrs. Neff has provided us a selection this week. Do you remember what the title is? We've only listened to it one time together. Let's listen to it. Hopefully it's loud enough. And tell me what we're listening to and who it's by. Do you remember? They said the title in the words, if you could hear them. This Is My Country, that's right, by Don Ray and Al Jacobs. And someday if we go to Disneyland or Disney World together, if you're in 6th grade, hopefully we get to see the fireworks show and hear that selection being played. If you go on to the website, the Hojo site on YouTube, you can see pictures of veterans and some of our Air Force and different members of the service. So it's a pretty cool video to watch. So Mr. Berg has given us some art for the week. And do you remember the artist? His name was Norman Rockwell. He's very, very famous American artist and illustrator. And all in his pictures that he created were on the cover or in the magazine, the Saturday Evening Post, for many years. And we, Monday, looked at one that was called Freedom of Speech. Do you remember? Freedom of Speech. Here we go. We have a gentleman standing up. People have peaceably assembled, and he is going to say something. And that's a right that we have in our country, right? The First Amendment protects that right. Also in the First Amendment, there's the freedom of worship, right? Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion, right? Or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. And so here we have a picture. What would you, if you were going to make a picture of freedom of worship, what would it look like? Would you be in a church? Would you be someplace else? Would it just be one religion? Would it be many? So here's what Norman Rockwell painted. It's many religions. And so it's hard to depict or hard to see, but it appears that we have people of Protestant faith, we have rosary beads for Catholic, Jewish faith over here. And what it says up above is each according to the dictates of his own conscience. That comes from a State of the Union speech that was given by Franklin Delano Roosevelt when the United States was entering into World War II. Those were some tough times then too. We're in a world pandemic right now. It makes it tough, but back then it was tough. They're just coming off of the Great Depression, and there'd been a world war, Great Depression, and now facing another world war. And FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, gave a speech, a State of the Union speech, in 1941, and part of it where he states of the 4 freedoms. The first 2 protected by the Constitution, the First Amendment. We'll see what the other 2 are. 4 freedoms that he mentions. Okay, so for our poem, we did a poem from William Emerson. William Ralph Emerson, cousin to Ralph Waldo Emerson, who was more famous of a poet, related. And it's called A Nation's Strength. And so remember what this poet said about the nation's strength. What makes a nation strong? And he says it's not gold, it's not power, it's not pride, it's the people, right? Especially those who serve in the military. A Nation's Strength by William Emerson. What makes a nation's pillars high and its foundation strong? What makes it mighty to defy the foes that round it throng? It's not gold, its kingdoms grand go down in battle shock. Its shafts are laid on sinking sand, not on abiding rock. Is it the sword? Ask the red dust of empires passed away. The blood has turned their stones to rust, their glory to decay. And is it pride? Ah, that the bright crown has seemed to nations sweet, but God has struck it luster down in ashes at its feet. Not gold, but only men can make a people great and strong, men who for truth and honor's sake stand fast and suffer long. Brave men who work while others sleep, who dare while others fly. They build a nation's pillars deep and lift them to the sky. Right? Pillars, remember? We talk about pillars being strong, and in our architecture, and the architecture of Greek and Roman times, right? Lots of pillars showing strength, right? So that was A Nation's Strength by William Emerson. And so now we're on to our Bill of Rights that we've been memorizing together. So let's say the first 4 amendments together. Ready? Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Second Amendment. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Third Amendment. No soldier shall in time of peace be quartered in any house without the consent of the owner, nor in time of war, but in a manner to be prescribed by law. Fourth Amendment. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the places to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. And we started to talk about the Fifth Amendment, and that's when we hear a lot about protecting your rights. Back in the time that the Bill of Rights was written, it wasn't uncommon for governments to just throw people in jail. They were run by kings or tyrants and despots that they could just throw you in jail for any reason. They didn't have to give you any cause because they had the power to do so. But we have protection through our government, our Constitution, that says that you cannot be thrown in jail just because somebody in power has decided to do that. If you have people that don't like what you say, or don't like who you are, or they don't like what you do, that they could just throw you in jail. Not so in our country, because we're protected by the Constitution. And so the Fifth Amendment, we said, remember, no person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces or in the militia when in actual service in time of war or public danger. So you cannot be charged with crimes that will have extreme penalties like life in prison, so capital crimes, unless a grand jury says there's enough evidence to even go forward. Nor shall any person be subject to the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life and limb. So nobody can try you, the government cannot try you 2 times for the same crime. Once you've gone and had your day in court, they cannot come back and say, hey, we found more evidence, we're going to put you in jeopardy of going to jail again. They can't do that. They'll only have one turn. Nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself or be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. So you don't have to testify against yourself. Remember, if you've ever watched shows where the police are arresting someone, they always give a Miranda right, because that was something that was determined by the U.S. Constitution to be a right of the people. So if anybody ever arrests you, or if they say you have the right to remain silent, you're reminded of your protections under the 5th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. And they cannot put you in jail or take away your life, liberty, or to take your property without due process of law. So the law has to dictate. They have to go through the process that's outlined before the government could take anything from you. Nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. So let's say you're living in a house and the town decides they want to put a road there. They can't just take your property and say, we're going to put a road here, you're out. So they have to go through a process of law and pay you for your property if the law decides that yes, you have to give up that property. They have to pay you for it. They can't just take it. And those are things that used to happen before we had the protection of our Bill of Rights. So they're very important, and we want to know them and be able to talk about them and make sure that nobody takes them away from us. Because we're the government of the people, right? So if the government, the people in charge, should not have the power, it's we the people. And this is how we make sure that that happens. Okay, friends, remember we have our wreaths for sale. Smaller ones are artificial, or the larger real ones, $20 for the artificial, $30 for the real ones, and the money goes to help grow the Hojo Athletics department. If you have a family member who would like to order one, they can fill out the form, and they can pay now or pay when they pick up, and pickup is on December 2nd. That's all we have for today. So let's say our student pledge. I will do the good, I will learn the true, and I will love the beautiful. And I hope you have a great day today.